Hey guys, today I'll be showing another little service project I've been working on. And this video is actually for Jason, who owns this particular Moog source, but it's actually going to be for sale. So unfortunately I got some news last week from Jason. He's actually got cancer and it's in the final stages. And so he doesn't have very long. And so what I've done for him is I just wanted a full service. And what we're going to do is whatever is made off this synthesizer is going straight to his family. I'm not even going to charge him for the work I've done here. We're just going to make this thing, as part of my donation to his family. We're going to just make this thing sell, and whoever buys this thing, all that money that is spent on this will go directly to his family. It's just the way I'm going to do it. For this situation. It's a really weird situation to be in. It's the first time I've had to deal with this kind of situation, and like I say, it's just my show of appreciation for you, Jason, for giving me the opportunity to even work on this thing for you, and for your family. It's a really sad situation. But on that negative note, I do want to tell you that whoever gets this instrument will have a really nice Moog Prodigy. You're getting a really nice little Prodigy here. And it's been taken good care of. I went through it and cleaned it up really good, serviced it really good, and so it's just really clean. It's got a really nice key bed. I took all the keys apart, did my usual stuff, cleaned the key contacts, the keys, replaced the pitch potential. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue twisted. The pitch potentiometer in this particular instrument, it actually had a dead spot, so I ended up putting a different value in there. I changed the value to a lot better value, so you get a better range. But also I used an Allen Bradley sealed pot, like you find in mini Moogs. So it's actually got a more beefier, better style potentiometer than what came in these things. So I did that. Just cleaned everything up. You can see the wood, it looks nice. Now it does have some scuffs. I didn't really take care of the wood damage here. I just got it working really good. And also I did install a MIDI kit. So this one does have a Kenton MIDI kit in it. So it's got the Kenton MIDI kit, and it also is the later Moog Prodigy, so it has all the CV ins and outs. So you can have a lot of fun with it, whoever gets this one. Now one note about the MIDI is whoever gets this thing, I would recommend it be somebody that's got a good MIDI controller, because you actually have to calibrate this thing using a MIDI controller. Unfortunately, I'm old school. I don't have a MIDI controller, and I don't have any way to actually calibrate this thing, but all the paperwork will come with it, so you can actually go through the calibration procedure. It's real simple. It's just I don't have the way to access it because I don't have a controller that has a MIDI port. The only MIDI controller I have that's actually got any kind of programming capability only has USB, and you have to have a DIN jack to plug into this thing. So that's just something I would like to make a note of. Whoever gets this thing will have to calibrate the MIDI. It does work though, and I will show you it does work. It just doesn't scale all the way up the keyboard. So that's where it'll have to be adjusted. Also another note about Moog Prodigies, I always bring this up when I talk about Moog Prodigies, is that you have this keyboard in and out. So this is not keyboard in out, just so you know. This is only a keyboard output. So when you plug into this, it's going to be output only. So you can use this as a controller for external synthesizers, but if you want to put a CV input, don't use your keyboard in out. You have to use your oscillator input. And that's actually going to go to the summing node, and that's actually how you're going to feed CV into this thing. So just a note for that. If you're looking at trying to run the keyboard in and out, it's only an output. Why Moog called that in out, I'll never understand it, because they didn't even put a TRS jack in there. It's just a TS. So if a TRS, you can actually probably have one that, like ring or tip, is an input, the ring is an output, for example. So it's just kind of what it is there. But just want to bring that up. But the serial number is 11008, so it's a later Prodigy. Really clean. Like I said, I cleaned everything up. Installed these jacks in a nice way so they look really nice and neat. Tried to keep it out of the logo here. The reason I got Kenton was because Jason actually bought this kit, and so as part of his purchase I just want to put it in here for him. So it's got the MIDI kit. But once again, a nice look at the other side of it here. Just looks really clean, really good. Just looking down the front, the screen printing's still really good on this unit. Sometimes that screen printing's wore off, but this one's still nice and bright and clean. It's got all the knobs, it's got all the slider caps, and it just looks really good. Alright, so I'm going to show you that the MIDI works real quick. So I've got my little MIDI controller that's vintage in its own right. It's an old Novation 10X, or MM 10X. So it's a little MIDI controller I got. I just typically use just for, you know, testing MIDI channels, or testing to make sure MIDI works, more or less. But anyways, what I've got here, I've got it set up, and so we got modulation and we got pitch control, as well as the keyboard. Now this is where you're going to notice that you're going to have to scale this thing, whoever gets it, with their MIDI controller that has the program change capabilities. So if we go here, so there's your keyboard. We got the modulation. Now this also has some dirty potentiometers for the modulation and pitch, so it's not the best demo, but this is where you can tell the scaling needs to be set. If I go, you can hear it actually goes out of tune. And that's where the calibration will take place, is getting that scaled in. And once you do that, you got a function to hit save in the memory, and you'll hold that and you'll never have to do it again. It's just kind of one of those things that you have to set it up like that. I don't have the capability, unfortunately, and I'm not very knowledgeable in MIDI, so that's also my weakness with digital stuff, is I just don't quite understand MIDI all that well. But I'm an analog guy. So anyways, I just want to show you that worked real quick. Alright, so I'm first just going to start by showing you the oscillator section. So I got the filter completely opened up. We got both oscillators combined. I'm going to just show you how great the scaling is of these two oscillators, and the tracking, and across the footages, etc. here. And then I'll show you the filter, envelope generators, and then go over here to the glide section and kind of show you some of that. I'll probably show you some of that combined with the oscillators here. But first I'll go down and scale the keyboard with the two oscillators. So anyways, you can hear how great those oscillators sound against each other in different footages, etc. But now I'm going to break it down. I'll show you that each oscillator independently here, just kind of show you how they work. So the first oscillator, we have a footage of 32, 16, and 8. And then oscillator 2 has a 16, 8, and 4. So they're a little offset from each other in the actual octave ranges. We've got a switch in oscillator 1, oscillator 2 to oscillator 1 synchronization. This gives you that really cool effect. It actually works with your pitch wheel to bend oscillator 2 pitch only, so you get those really cool kind of 80s metallic sweeps, and I'll show you that. Waveform wise, we got a sawtooth, triangular, and pulse wave on oscillator 1. It's like a 10% duty cycle pulse wave. And then oscillator 2, we've got the interval control, which actually allows you to detune the oscillator. And then we've got the waveforms, sawtooth, triangular, and this one actually has a 50% duty cycle square wave instead of the pulse wave. So I'll show you that here in a minute. But here's oscillator 1 only. So that's your sawtooth. Here's your triangular wave. And then here's your pulse wave. And of course, then your footages, of course. So there's your footages. So that's oscillator 1. I'll come back to the sync switch after we get through oscillator 2 here. So oscillator 2, like I say, it starts with 16 footage. So we got the sawtooth, the triangular wave. And then we've got the actual square wave. And we got the interval control so we can detune the oscillator. So there's that. Now we'll go here and go to the sync switch, turn it on, and now the pitch wheel is going to actually give us that really cool metallic. So I'm going to turn on oscillator 1, so here's oscillator 2 only with this effect. So there's your oscillator sync. So we'll turn that back off. Now we got both oscillators turned back on. And now you can hear how great that pitch wheel works. As mentioned, I put in a Allen Bradley pot. So it's an industrial grade pot like you find in the old vintage mini Moogs. So it's a really good potentiometer to replace that with. And it's also got the dead zone. So if we go back here, I'll go to sawtooth on both of these. When you listen to when I move the wheel in the detent, you won't hear any tuning effect. As you can hear, the dead zone works now correctly as well. These actually come with dead zoning, but a lot of people offset the wheel if there's a dead spot. Yeah, it's kind of a common thing I see, especially when somebody's trying to sell one. But got this one all set back up with a really great spec potentiometer in there. So that's your pitch wheel. We've got the modulation. I'm going to show you the modulation when we're in oscillator section. So we can engage it by using the oscillator mod switch here. So you got a triangular waveform, then you got a square wave. So you do some really cool kind of patterns like that with it. It also is great for just some nice slow intros. So that's it with square wave there. So that's your modulation. We've got glide. I'm going to show you glide real quick. And just like on mini Moogs, I always talk about how you can let off a note and it'll hold that memory of where that key is at and the CV voltage. It's the same thing with this glide circuit. So we can go. It's just kind of a fun circuit there, the way that works. So that's your oscillators, your glide, your modulation section here. Now we'll go to the filter section. So let me get this filter set where it self-oscillates. So that's just your filter here and there. So we can turn the key tracking off altogether. Here the filter's fixed at a fixed frequency. We got half track. And then we got full track. And then the same thing here, we got modulation. So we can turn on this modulation switch here. As you can hear. What I love to do, especially with the filters on these things, I'm just going to give you an example. We're going to put a little reverb on this. Actually a little Hall effect. See what you can hear how great that filter sounds. Just a really great filter, especially with a little bit of effects on there. You can just have the effects really bring that out. It makes a great backing piece for a track. So that's a filter with the key tracking, self-oscillation. Well, actually, I was going to show you the filter control real quick. So we'll actually set this filter without, we'll leave key tracking on. So we got key tracking on, turn the glide off. So now I'm going to actually bring up the amount of contour. We got everything set to 0. Here's just a click. We'll bring up the amount of decay. Bring it down in frequency a little bit on the cutoff. These things have a really nice long decay release envelope. You can also get some really punchy kind of so anyways, you can hear that filter. Really nice envelope there. So that's your decay. We got the attack. As you can hear. Then we got the sustain level. You have a lot of fun with this too. So that's your sustain level, and basically it sets how low the decay goes. So we put a little decay on there. So it goes all the way to 0 with the sustain at 0. So as you can hear. So that's your filter contour with the amount of contour control there. Now we'll open this filter back up. I'll bring the oscillators back up here. And now we'll go to the loudness contour. So loudness contour, we got the same controls. We got attack, decay, release, sustain. So start with everything at 0. You can hear just a click. We'll bring out the decay, release. So you can hear your decay release there, and I'm only at 6. You can go all the way to 10. It's got a really long, nice release time, decay time there. So we'll set it back to 0. We'll bring up the attack. As you can hear, and we got the sustain. So that's why it gets those percussive kind of. As you can hear. So it's a really cool kind of sound. That's your envelope, excuse the working next door here. That's why you're hearing hammers. But anyways, that's your loudness control here. We've also got the switch here called release. We flip that, it's just like the decay switch on a mini Moog. As you can see. So anyways, that's really the synthesizer. That's what you get. It's like I said, it's a pretty simple little synth, but it's got a great tone. I'll just go through some sound programs here, and I'll just build some sounds for you guys that want to hear some things this thing can do. I'll put a little effect on it. We'll go here and go. Put a little effect on this. So anyways, just a little quick sound demo there for you guys, just some different kind of programming. But anyways, appreciate you guys watching, and once again, Jason, really do appreciate the opportunity to work on this thing for you. And for anybody that wants to donate money to his family, I'll have his GoFundMe account listed in the description of this video. And hopefully whoever gets this thing will have a really nice little Moog Prodigy, and happy for whoever gets it. It's a really nice little Moog Prodigy here. But thanks again, and there'll be some more videos to come here very soon. Take care.